No matter where I am in life, no matter how sad or happy I may be, Avatar the Last Airbender is a show that I can always come back to. There's probably a million other videos out there on why it's such a brilliant TV show, but it holds such a special place in my heart that I just need to express my undying adoration for this series. I watched Avatar as it came out as a kid, about the same age as Aang, and as the years have gone by, my love for the show has grown. At first I thought my views were just clouded with nostalgia, but after watching it over and over again and introducing it to new people, I found that it really does hold up. Avatar is much more than a children's cartoon. Avatar is a show that tackles real issues, both big and small, from the genocide of an entire culture to preteen love. And it handles all of this with more grace than any other show that I've ever seen. Avatar can be serious, it can be funny, it can be heartwarming, and it can be devastating. But perhaps my favorite thing about Avatar is that even though it's a show essentially made for children, it never treats its audience as such. We're given the respect that most shows, even designed for adults, don't give us. I don't know about you, but I hate when a show is afraid to end something on a sad note. There's nothing I hate more than a show that's afraid to leave its audience with an emotional feeling. I hate when I'm watching a TV show and an incredibly moving or sad scene happens, only to be immediately followed up with a stupid joke or one-liner. Avatar doesn't do this. It knows when to crack jokes and when to take things seriously. This is the basis of why I love Avatar so much, the emotion. Everything about this show just screams emotion. It's never trying to get a cheap laugh. Every joke is well earned, and the more serious parts of the show are dealt with using the utmost care. Every time I see a character go through an emotional part of their journey, I feel for them. Watching Aang find out the Fire Nation killed Monk Yatso destroys me on the inside. Watching Sokka fall in love with Princess Yue reminds me of how wonderful it can be to fall in love, but also how devastating it is to lose someone that you care about. Watching Aang throw a dance party for the kids at the Fire Nation school brings me back to my middle school years, learning what it was like to have fun in a different type of environment. Do I even need to mention Iroh's story from Tales of Ba Sing Se, or literally Zuko's entire character arc? I'm not afraid to say that this show makes me cry to this day. I can be going through a wonderful period in my life, but when I see Aang find out that Appa was stolen by the Sandbenders and sold off to merchants, I can't help but let my emotions out. Or when I feel like I've hit rock bottom and I feel like nothing matters, an episode of Avatar can bring me back to my senses and show me that it's okay to be emotional. Our main characters aren't these impervious superhumans. They're just regular kids like you and me. Avatar shows us that it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to get angry, and it's okay to let things end. Avatar was never intended to go on forever. It had a specific story to tell, and when it was time to end it, that was it. Far too many shows drag on for too long and hamper the experience as a whole. Avatar never set out to be more than it needed to be, and because of this, it succeeds. You can tell that Avatar wasn't a show made simply to make money. It was a show that wanted to tell an engaging story using the medium of animation. One of the most important lessons to be learned from Avatar the Last Airbender as a television series is to know when to let things end. I could go on with specific details about individual episodes, but I'll leave it here. For me, Avatar the Last Airbender is the best piece of storytelling that I have ever experienced. It is the only show that I rewatch every year, and the only show that touches me in such a profoundly emotional way. Every time I watch Avatar, I'm left with a bittersweet feeling. The kind of feeling you get when you know you've just finished something magnificent. You're so happy that you got to experience it, but you're sad that it's over. And sometimes in life, it's better to enjoy the time you were able to have with something wonderful than to let it drag on unnecessarily.